Hi, everyone. Oh my goodness, what a roller coaster these past few weeks have been. I know it's been quite tumultuous for me. I imagine it has been for you too. It literally feels a bit like being strapped into a roller coaster and being like, okay, well, what next? What dip is going to come next? I know I've been feeling all the feelings and really leaving space for myself to feel them all because that's so healthy. And I've also been recognizing one particular feeling that's coming up that my therapist actually really helped me see and give a name to. And I thought I'd share it because I think it's helpful. And it's the sense of being trapped. She called it trapped physiology. It's this sense of being stuck, stymied, powerless. And the problem with this is it actually brings up this part of ourself that remembers being trapped in the past, whether it was trapped emotionally or physically in a relationship, in a mindset. And there's a part of us that's coming online that's like, never again. Like, I never again want to be in that position. And yet, some part of our nervous system is feeling really trapped right now. And so it's bringing up all that stuff about being trapped. And it can be really intense. And so it's good to just be gentle with yourself as that's coming up. And I'm reminding myself over and over again right now that I'm actually not trapped, that there is a sense of inner freedom here that is really happening, and that I'm not in the place that I was before. I'm not going back to that old place. In fact, this is a very novel moment in time. This is totally new. I've never experienced anything like this before. And, in some ways that's helpful for the part of me that worries that I'm backtracking in some way. So I wanted to share that in case you have been feeling trapped too. It's really normal to feel that way. And one thing that this has been really helping me with is naming this has helped me to shift into a state of curiosity rather than crisis. And I'm also really forgiving myself when I am having states of crises because that's really real. But I'm asking myself, how can I be curious instead of immediately hopping into crisis mode? And this sense of curiosity is really seeing me through right now, and there's some things I am really curious about, so I thought I might share them to see maybe if you're curious about them too, and also ask you what it is that you're feeling curious about. So one thing I'm really curious about is this idea that this is actually Earth energy. This virus is an aspect of the Earth's energy rising. Just like a fire or a flood, it is neither good nor bad. It simply is. And that there is, in some ways, a great power to this. There is a great power to it. And I'm also curious about the idea that viruses can exchange information with our DNA, and the hypothesis that actually evolution itself has been in part driven by viruses sharing new information with our DNA. And so I'm really curious about this powerful Earth energy and the information that is coming in with this virus, both the physical information and also the information that we are receiving now just through being so highly connected to the collective consciousness, and if we choose to, also being really highly connected to the Earth and the idea of this as an Earth energy. And I'm reminding myself when I start to feel really fearful and, getting into sort of that shutdown mode of feeling like there's an enemy that I can't see, is reminding myself that this virus doesn't want to kill us. That is an unfortunate byproduct of it trying to find a home and a place to live. And as with all bacteria and viruses, it's a sign of actually like a low success rate to be killing your host. And so I'm reminding myself of that this energy doesn't want to kill us, that is not the intention, that there's actually deeper intention that is mysterious to me, but that is clearly very powerful and is emanating from our planet. So I'm very curious about that, and I'm also really curious about the deep creativity that's welling up right now. I've been so in awe of everything that people are creating in this moment. I'm like glued to my screen in a way that feels so positive and uplifting, actually, because I've been loving seeing people's thoughts, people's artworks, the songs that are coming out, the way people are singing to each other from the balconies in Italy. There is such a deep well of creativity that's rising up right now in folks, and it's reminding me of the concept of creative constraints, that when we have only a certain amount of materials to work with or a certain amount of time, when there are constraints on our creativity, we are actually more creative. and we're more fulfilled by our creations. And I mean, if anything, we are in a time of deep creative restraint right now, creative constraints, and I'm really curious about what's going to come out of this, what kind of creations. I read recently that Isaac Newton came up with calculus and first got the idea of gravity while basically on lockdown for the Black Plague. And I'm like, wow, who knows what's going to come out of this time if we choose to accept that invitation and to really go inwards and go into the present moment, which there's kind of nothing else to do because we don't know what's coming up in the future. And all creativity arises from that present. And wow, I think there's a lot that's going to be moving through us right now. And I already see it in everything that people have begun to create. And perhaps you feel that stirring inside of you too. I've also been really feeling this sense, and I'm curious about it, of this idea of the other side of panic is a power surge. Panic itself is a kind of power surge, that surge of adrenaline in your body, and I know I've been through that in the past few weeks. And I also have been experiencing this other side, which is this power surge that isn't connected to panic, but is very potent and is bringing in a lot of energy, a lot of aliveness, a lot of appreciation for being alive. And it's actually reminding me of, at the beginning of the Celtic New Year, at the beginning of November, I picked cards for the year. And from the time of the spring equinox to Beltane on May 1st, I picked the World card. And I got this card and I took it as a sign to plan this heritage trip to Europe that I've been wanting to take for years. And so I was actually supposed to leave in a few days to go to Europe, and I'm not doing that anymore. It's the right thing for me to do to stay home right now. And I'm really realizing it was very hard to let that go, of course. And I'm really realizing and looking back at this card that the indication of the World card wasn't necessarily that I was meant to travel abroad during this time, but that in the traditional tarot deck, the world is both an ending and a beginning. And I really feel that for us right now, that this is a big time of rebirth. Big, major, for our planet, for our communities, for ourselves. And one synchronicity, one thing that's been coming up for me a lot is rainbows. I'm seeing rainbows everywhere. They're showing up as a sign for me. And I really am taking this in as actually a symbol of this time right now. You cannot have a rainbow without the rain. And the rainbow is the byproduct of those scant beams of light that come in the midst of a rainstorm. And I think if we can tune into the moment, if you have a space of time where the anxiety lets go a little bit or the worry lets go a little bit, that you can get this feeling sense that there are rainbows. That's that moment of the light coming in and shining through this rainstorm. And literally where I'm at, we're supposed to have rain for like the next 10 days. It feels very symbolic, but that light coming through is showing us the rainbows, is showing us that there is possibility, there is hope. So I know I'm going to keep looking for those rainbows and keep sharing about them. And if this video is helpful for you, I'd love to know that, and I'd love to keep sharing. If so, just please know that I'm here with you, and I'm here seeking the rainbows, and yeah, we're in this together. So sending you so much love. Till next time.